Do you seek perfection? Do you tolerate the slightest flaw? In photography, we are always chasing megapixels. 4K, 8K, and now AI. You run, take hundreds of pictures, open your laptop, load thousands of raw images, sharpening, color boost, noise reduction, clarity, maybe a bit more sharpening before the final export to AI upscaler. But what if you slowed down and didn't chase every single tweak? See? Film photography is booming again. It sets the rules for the most presets you are offered to buy. Fuji has succeeded massively by implementing film simulations, and for a good reason. Established companies are releasing new film cameras. But what if you don't have a film camera? Is there a way to have a taste of film in a convenient digital package? Meet Dehancer, a plugin that's revolutionizing how we think about digital editing. The team sent me an offer to test their software and see if it lives up to their promises of bringing a film to digital RAW. An honest disclaimer, I was asked to give my true opinion whether I like software or not, so what you hear is my unfiltered view. To do this, I bought Kodak 200 film and loaded it into 42-year-old Zenith camera. To get full vintage effect, I attached an old but sharp Helios 77M-4 lens known for its swirly bokeh. This setup would compete against a Nikon Z6 with the same Helios lens through an adapter. I used the same exposure and aperture settings to keep conditions as close as possible. Occasionally, a Leica Q with a short stash CPL mist filter was included in the test. The fourth camera is a Leica M8, which has a Kodak Eastman CCD sensor. It doesn't compete against the other three, but there is a section dedicated to it and the Kodakchrome preset. And I also included CineStill 400D, a unique film that Dehancer doesn't have profile for, but I will try to recreate it. And did I mention I have Portra 160 NC scans along with their digital counterparts? Call it a preparation to truly push the limits. Dehancer offers an array of film profiles, from Ilford to Svima, each crafted to emulate the original film stock. But it's more than just the profiles. You can adjust every little detail, grain, bloom, halation, even the print process. It's like having a darkroom on your computer. And trust me, to get the best results, you need to do some work before achieving your desired look. Does it succeed? Not always, but it's close. So let's see if it passed my test. Dehancer works as a plugin in your editing software. First, you develop the raw file. Adjust the white balance, lower exposure, reduce sharpening, lower contrast and black levels so your image looks mostly flat. Then Dehancer takes this file as a TIFF and your editing journey begins. You can go in two directions, choose a pre-built preset that applies a bunch of settings to your image, then tweak from there, or proceed with image adjustments and use one of the many film simulations. Dehancer takes film simulation seriously, including a push-pull slider that controls the overall contrast of the image, affecting each film differently. But basically, step by step you adjust exposure, tint and temperature corrections, and apply film compression to redistribute the highlights. Unique tools like print emulate the changes that would occur if an image was printed and then scanned for digital delivery. There is also a color head adjustment based on the analog color correction tool in photo enlargers. And finally, the film grain option. The film grain simulation is fantastic, feeling like true grain rather than simple overlay. Halation simulates the red-orange halo effect around the highlights. I will provide a comparison to CineStill 400D film scans to see if that effect matches. There is also option to add film damage and overscan effects, though I find them rather gimmicky. Now, all my film rolls were scanned by lab using a professional Noritsu scanner. I gathered random shots, not necessarily world-class art, but purely to test the software's capabilities and understand its limits. During the footage gathering, I lost some clips, but here you can see an accurate representation of me setting up the cameras. Taking a shot with the Zenith, then with the Nikon, then with the Leica. After spending a lot of time trying to recreate digital shots to look like Kodak 200, I concluded that the built-in Kodak 200 preset simply cannot simulate the real film colors. For CineStill 400D shots, I used the CineStill 800D preset as a starting point to adjust the colors and create presets. These presets will be available to download, so check out the link in the description below. The halation effect worked well, though sometimes it appeared in different places compared to the film shots. Here is a small comparison collection to see how the software competed against the real films. Notice this portrait shot, how I couldn't recreate the house wall colors accurately in the Dehancer. Here are comparable dog photos and it's closer to film results. In this Cinestill 400D shot, the software applied halation anywhere but light sources, and I struggled to recreate the shifted color temperature of the film shot. The next shot, by far the hardest to mimic, shows how differently highlights are redistributed in digital and film formats. The smooth roll-off you see was never possible to achieve here. Another late sunset shot is close, but not the same. Every shot requires individual adjustments. In this indoor shot, I couldn't recreate the table color, no matter the settings. Now, a small section dedicated to the Leica M8. This legendary and quirky camera has a Kodak sensor inside, rumored to emulate Kodakchrome colors. While it's true the colors are beautiful, I never found it film-like. Here is a comparison with the Nikon Z6. The raw files were adjusted using Dehancer Kodakchrome profile, and the results are very similar. The Leica looks slightly softer due to the old, non-Leica low-contrast lens. Using a Leica lens would increase the contrast, making it hard to distinguish between the two. What's more, no infrared cut filter was used on the Leica M8, yet the results are similar, despite the Kodak CCD sensor. And you know what? In my experience, the newer Leica Q has more film-like qualities due to how it accepts adjustments in the raw files, and its high ISO grain effect is very film-like. Dehancer also offers a plugin for popular video editing software, and it's fantastic, it truly is. It has all the settings for color grading, film simulations, and even adds a film breath effect and gate weave. The real deal here is the film grain, the most realistic I have ever seen. Combined with the light bloom and color adjustments, you might get a truly inspiring result. Keep in mind that if you apply many effects, playback might get choppy at times. On my 16-inch MacBook M1 Pro, it was mostly smooth, and the software never crashed, which is a big plus. I also checked the Dehancer iOS app, which offers a solid photo editing functionality and the ability to add all effects for video. With plenty of tools to choose from, including a film grain and bloom, your footage can stand out and look more organic compared to the standard iPhone's over-sharpened and over-HDR'd approach. If you're on the go or use an iPad, check out this app. Overall, Dehancer isn't a quick preset option. You need to work for a result, treating it as a serious digital developing tool. Developing film was never a fast process anyway, and that brings me to a general conclusion. There is no way to emulate film accurately. First, each camera raw file accepts adjustments differently, so the same settings will look different on different files. Using a digital camera cuts off ability to have even the small light leaks that might dramatically affect the film shot. Moreover, film stocks are balanced for one white balance or another, so shooting daylight balanced film in tungsten light without a correction filter results in a clear color shift, which digital easily corrects, giving you a correct white balance shot with some film effects applied. It's a fact that you must accept. You can get close but never truly match a real film. But for most users that might be enough, and for film purists, no software will be a consideration anyway. After extensive tests, I see Dehancer as an impressive tool for video color grading, despite my initial brief test due to my passion for photography rather than filmmaking. The film grain option alone is worth having on your computer, and luckily you can purchase it separately. Bloom and halation tools are exemplary, and I haven't tried anything remotely close. As a photo editing plugin, it's less suitable for quick everyday work due to the extensive editing required each time. You will spend quite a bit of time balancing highlights and shadows. But if you slow down, just like with film photography, or want to have fun with various editing options, there is definitely room for this tool. With some input and time, you can truly achieve a film look, if not necessarily recreate a true authentic film color. But sometimes you don't need to be precise. Sometimes it's just better to go, be spontaneous, and have fun rather than pixel peep and wait for the best conditions. It's in the fun process that you connect with what you do and truly let your creativity go wild. So my suggestion, give the Dehancer a chance. Get a trial, And even if you don't love it, you will get a taste of totally different approach to photo and video editing. Expanding your knowledge is always a good thing. And who knows, you might get hooked. By the way, with the purchase you get 2 seats, so you can split the cost with a colleague or friend and both enjoy the software. And in case you like Dehancer and want to purchase it, feel free to use code LIMINAL for a 10% discount. So, tune down that clarity slider, let the soft grain kick in, and until I see you next time.